Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Everything in the arcade, everything on all home consoles, everything on as many home computers as we can find, and every handheld. Join me in the beginning of December 1982. We were last in the arcade checking out Dark Planet, and that is not what Dark Planet really looks like. Emulation cannot do it justice. You have to find an arcade cabinet yourself. Let's see what our next game is. Oh wow, this one we've been waiting for a long time. We've been seeing it in magazines, and the hype is real. This is Defender, released on the Atari home computer. Let's check it out together. Here's the box for Defender on your Atari 400 or Atari 800. Play the arcade game at home, and they went with the same artwork that's on the Atari 2600 Defender, which we've seen. But that's pretty rare. Most of the time they pick something different. When Centipede was out on the Atari home computer, they had a whole new theme and artwork, but this is the awesome classic Atari artwork that they put on the front of this box. Look at that. Incredible. Yes, it is going to be on cartridge, I'm pretty sure. And if we flip it over in the back, well done, Atari. The aliens are trying to destroy your civilization. Look at the screenshot. They blew up this giant screenshot, and it's just a bunch of shrapnel, because if you're really good at this game, you're just going to see a lot of shrapnel fly on the screen. So very apt for what you're expecting to play. They swarmed over your planet, attempting to capture humanoids and transform them into destructive mutants. I think they were called mutoids at one point, right? But we'll see. Here's the artwork, or other artwork we have for Defender. This is the 433rd game that we've seen on the Atari home computer thus far. And Atari did this, of course, in-house. This is the 20th game that they've published for the Atari home computer. Not to be confused with the Atari Program Exchange. This is just Atari Inc. itself for their publishing. Now, this game was first developed by Michael W. Colburn before they've scrapped it and went with another version that we're going to be playing. I know there's a prototype version that you could play of the very first one. It's kind of similar, but not really. This final version is the one that we'll be checking out. So besides the box, we also have the ad or catalog item. A few other games are on there too. You can see Defender, aliens swarm over the planet attempting to capture humanoids and transfer them into destructive mutants. Or mutoids. Where did I hear mutoids? Maybe that was from the arcade version. They called them mutoids. And then we have the cartridge that we're going to just pop into play on our Atari home computer. It's easy as that. You plug in the Atari VCS joystick, you pop in the cartridge, and then you play. But you need to have those joysticks. So easy and just so fun that a home computer right now is making this so simple to play a video game. And there's that fantastic artwork that they put on for Defender. Looks great. With an example of the screenshot, I love it. So here's the manual for Defender on the Atari home computer. So this one was done by Steve A. Baker. This is the 10th time that we've seen Steve on the show. Way to go, Steve. He's done games like Photar and Star Mines. And this one is official, ported over by Williams. So Williams is the one that did this originally in the arcade. It's the 15th time we've seen any game that's done by Williams up to this point. And this one is official. This isn't a clone or a copy of Defender. This is the 5th game that we've seen so far in the official series of Defender games. We saw the original in the arcades by Eugene Jarvis in February 1981. And then we saw the sequel, the real sequel, Stargate, in the arcade. And then so far we've seen official Defender on the Atari 2600 and official Defender on the Intex AdventureVision, even though that console is very rare and very strange. Yes, that artwork is fantastic. Look at this. The manual artwork is still bringing it to us. Look at that. It's amazing. It is so good. And it's freaky because, it's aliens taking over. That's the whole point of what made Space Invaders so appealing. Aliens are coming. And this just encapsulates it so well. So nicely done. And I just got to give the nod to this manual for home computers. Of all home computers is really good. Atari in-house for their games that they ported over, they did a great job bringing pictures and style to the manuals. They are very well done. The Defender of Worlds. So here's how you play, and this is great because I don't have the Atari home computer in front of me. You put the cartridge in the left slot. The right slot was usually only used for basic. Don't put it in the right slot, just the left slot. And then there's your joystick. Plug in the Atari VCS Joystick right there, and then push the select key to see what kind of versions of Defender you can play. I think it's just difficulty levels. Select button is right there, and then the start button is when you want to play. Decades past, your leaders learned that aliens lusted for your world at once. They sent your most brilliant scientists, your most far-seeing warriors, to design the ultimate spaceship, something to defend your beleaguered planet. Now that ship is in your hands. Is that all we get for lore? That's it? That's so bizarre. I was expecting a long list of, or a long story that we'd be reading. Not here live on the show, though. So you press the start key to begin. The escape key is to pause in the middle of the game, which is awesome. Most of the games we've seen on the Atari, you push the space bar to pause, but no, here, the space bar is your smart bomb. Look at all this. These pictures are showing you all the keys. It's so cool. I love that. So Jeremiah, we're about to play Defender, released right now for the Atari home computer. If you push any other key, that'll be your hyperspace. So this means you're going to have your hands on the joystick, and you're going to have to reach for the keyboard to hyperspace and smart bomb. And we've seen a few other computer games do that. It's not ideal, but you know, when you only have one button, the one red button on your Atari VCS joystick, that's all you got to do. All right, there we go. And see how well the manual is showing you the pixel art? Man, it's great. Great job. Oh, here we go. Here's the story. The alien attack has come. The humanoids will transform into mutants who will then strike at you. And we've already seen this since we saw this from 1981 in the arcades, and now at home after we've already seen official Defender on the Atari and on the Intex Adventure Vision. We're going to have to fight. When you destroy all the aliens in the first wave, another wave moves in, and you just go wave by wave. Classic, repeating loop, arcade-style action. Defender survives the more dangerous attack waves that they become, and it just gets harder and harder if it already wasn't hard enough. Defender is already very difficult, and this one is, I would say the port at home, this version is going to be joystick controlled. When you played it in the arcades, remember, it was a lot of buttons. They put a lot down there, and it was, most people were overwhelming if they weren't familiar with arcade games. And so this one actually works pretty good, having just the joystick and one button, and then you'll have to reach for the other two buttons on your keyboard. The Defender responds quickly to controls. May be hard to reverse or prolong thrust due to the momentum because they're going so fast. There's the example of the bomber, and then they have the example of the lander, the different aliens. Smart bombs will blow everything on the screen that you have, but we are going to be scrolling around. Hyperspace temporarily sends you to a space warp, but you never know where you'll reappear because you can overuse it and it could blow you up. So there's the first enemies, landers. Bombers are going to lay mines to trap us, which are up there, and they are going through everything. Look at that. Where's the baiters? There they are. I hate the baiters, the one that actually come at us. They charge in on us, fire white charges. And then we have the mutants, transformed humanoids. Humanoids, aren't they? Wouldn't they just be called humans? Very dangerous. Oh, yes. I know I referred to them as mutoids at one point, but I can't remember when. Yes, that's correct, Jeremiah. This is our fourth time playing Official Defender. Official Defender was first in the arcade, and then we saw Official Defender, well, I guess Stargate was in the series of Defender, but then we saw Defender on the Atari 2600 and then the Intex Adventure Vision. The pod is the most dangerous because when it's destroyed, it releases swarmers, and there they are, the pods and swarmers. All aliens except landers can exit at the bottom of the screen and emerge from the top, or vice versa. Yikes. I love the artwork and pixel art they're putting in the manual. It's so fun. The view screen only shows your immediate area, but you do have that radar at the top. You begin the game with 10 humanoids. In other words, 10 humans on the planet. When a humanoid's kidnapped, it cries out for help. It does? It cries out for help? Is there a sound effect that I missed in the arcade? There's two ways of rescuing a humanoid. Either destroy the lander and let the humanoid fall to the planet, or destroy the lander and catch the humanoid, which I always thought was the coolest thing. You blow them up, and then you can catch them in midair and then bring them down to safety. You can also just wipe out all the humans if you want. Just shoot everything. And I think when we played that in the arcades, we did that. When you blow up all the humans, the whole planet just gets destroyed. It gets engulfed in fire. It's awesome. And then we got some points for falling safety, plus the points that you need for killing different things. Catching humanoids in midair is more difficult, and it earns you more points. You get 1,000 points plus 150 for the lander. If you catch the humanoid but don't return it, you get still 500 points. So you could blow up both if you wanted to. It's all about the points, though, right now in December 1982. If a lander succeeds in carrying them to the top, they become the mutant and try to attack you. And every 5th wave, a destroyed planet reappears and all 10 humanoids are replaced. If you can last that long, you got to be ready to go. So they have a strategy section here in the manual. Fly low. Good defenders seldom fly more than 2 inches above the planet to protect humanoids. Listen to the game sounds. If you hear the humanoid cry, and they're showing us the picture of the radar, because you'll be seeing that if there's someone that's being picked up. Mutants are not as hard to destroy as they might appear. Thrust, reverse. Don't thrust too much. You'll carry your momentum. Defender is one of the most complex games ever devised. And I love how they said that. I wonder if Eugene Jarvis brought that up or made that moniker for the marketing. Your control over the action is made simple by the Atari joystick. Using this one device, you can thrust, reverse, change the... See, in the arcade, you had to push a button to reverse. So that's why this makes it so much fun. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Pal Pucks. I know I heard mutoids somewhere. Oh, they were replaced by mutants. I thought it was just destroy the whole planet if you destroy all the humans. You carry a human around, they can destroy without the planet touching the ground. Aliens have become confused if you quickly reverse twice. Oh, that's smart. And then the smart bombs there. And then here's all the scores. Awesome. Thank you, Atari. There's not a lot of variations to the game. There's just difficulty levels that we can pick from. And there you go, the manual for Defender. It's time. We have a lot of different versions. I got hacked versions, trained versions of this one. We're just going to put the cart and play the first version of Defender for the Atari 400 and 800 by Steve A. Baker. Williams Electronics and Atari in the beginning of December 1982. Let's do it. Ooh. They already give us the feels. So I'm going to go into like a demo mode, which is kind of cool that it has a demo mode for this. So if I wanted to go, I think it's select, right? Yeah, there we go. So select on your Atari home computer will switch between easy, normal, and hard. You can also do 2-player. You can see the 2 ships at the top, but 2-player is hot seat arcade style. So you're not playing at the same time. There is no 2-player Defender. Sorry about that. All right, so there's the game, the demo mode. Ready? And hit it. So this is going to play itself, just showing you a little bit more of what the game looks like. This is awesome that they have this like an attract mode. It's really cool. You can already tell what we're getting into. This is a shoot 'em up, a scrolling shoot 'em up. Here on Chronologically Gaming, this is the 179th scrolling shoot 'em up that we've played on all systems, all over the world. This is the 111th scrolling shoot 'em up that we played on all home computers so far. And this is the 26th scrolling shoot 'em up on the Atari home computer. There's already 26 games that are scrolling shoot 'em ups, whether they're auto-scrolling like Scramble or like this with Defender. Some of the really good ones that we've seen so far have been games like Survivor. Top tier is Survivor. Captain Cosmo is one we just saw recently. Caverns of Mars is fantastic, or its sequel, Phobos. And Sea Dragon is another exceptional scrolling shoot 'em up that we've seen for the Atari home computer. All right, so I like the different game modes, but they don't really offer variations to play. It's just difficulty level that you pick from. Look how low the demo's flying. That's kind of interesting. So this is the cartridge that we're playing on is one of the largest sized cartridges that we've seen so far. The 16 kilobyte cartridge is the size of it. So it's the largest cartridge. There's already several games that are using this size of cartridge, but just bear that in mind, because right now when you play on the Atari 2600, you're still popping in like a 4 kilobyte cartridge in size. So this one is packing everything in that we've seen. There's no other cartridge we know about that is larger than this cartridge for Defender right here. All right, so here we go. I want to get in and let's go back to the main screen. Can we reset? No. Oh, there we go. We had to push the red button. All right, so here we go. We can go in and we'll start with 1-player easy and then push start, ready, set, hit it. So the first thing I want to see is the movement and controls. So using the Atari 26... Oops, I pushed the spacebar already. So using the Atari 2600 joystick, this already feels better than when we played it on the Atari 2600. I can move left, right on a dime. And that's interesting that they put that in the manual, because in the arcades you had to push a button to reverse it. And at the top of the screen, we already had lots of humans that are been sucked up and turned into mutants. And we're destroying all of them. If you look at the top of the screen, the radar is giving us a heads up of what's coming. I kind of knew someone was going to fly at us. First wave's done. Let's move on to the next one. And I have to remember, I'm going to need to reach down. Where's my, there it is. I got to hit the space bar to do the smart bomb. Let's destroy all of them. Look at all that shrapnel. It's so cool. We played a few Commodore VIC-20 games that I pointed out how much is happening on the screen, and it's really cool that they can display all this. Oh, it got me. But this might take the cake of the amount of stuff. Like when I do a smart bomb, look at this. Bam. Plus you have the Starfield scrolling in the background as well. It is well done. All right, let's do a capture, do a pickup, rescue down at the bottom. No mutant for you. Works great. And attack wave 2 done. Let's keep going. So cool. Now, can we blow the humans up? We can. All right, let's do it, because we've played a few variants where we couldn't do it. I want to blow them all up and see them all turn to mutants. Just go. Yep, there it is. Oh, man, look at that. It went haywire. Everything went crazy. Man, that's so fun. All right, let's go in again. Put me in. Put me in, coach. All right, let's do hard. One player hard. No reason to try a two-player game because it's not really going to make a difference. You need to have another person to take turns with. Get out of here. Man, so fun. All right, make a... Nice. Oh, I didn't get to rescue him. After you destroy... If he's the last one that was pulled up by a human, then you don't get to land him. All right, let's go to the left side here. Wow, that's really impressive. I just experienced a little bit of slowdown. Oh, and I killed the human there. But the amount of on-screen action, this is still really, really good. And also holding true to the arcade version with the radar at the top of the screen, allowing you to move. I mean, because at this point, we played lots of different clones and variants of Defender. We've already seen 42 clones of Defender so far, and they've taken liberties. Like, some of them take out the radar at the top, some of them don't have the humanoids you can rescue, some of them don't even let you turn around. They just go one direction, but it's not auto-scrolling. You know, if it's auto-scrolling, we usually call it a scramble variant. There, attack wave 2. So someone in the chat's already calling it a little choppy. I've seen a little slowdown. We have seen some smoother games for the Atari home computer. At this point, though, I've never seen anything trying to push this much on the screen. We've seen a few... Gosh, that's so crazy. And then I'm having to dodge the bullets, too. Looks like the bullets have a little bit that's... where they expire after a little bit of time, which is kind of nice. Yikes. Wow, look at that. Incredible. I gotta use these smart bombs before I... There we go. Smart bomb and just boom, get to attack wave 3. So we're doing pretty good, even though on hard. I actually couldn't tell the difference that much. It wasn't that big of a difference between easy and hard. Unless someone else wants to point it out. Bam. Oh, he still got it. This is great. So aside from the little bit of slowdown, it really isn't that big a deal right now, playing all the games we've seen up to this point. It's just impressive they're getting this as an official release so close to Defender. I mentioned this when we played the official Centipede on the Atari home computer. That's the only way to play official Centipede is on the Atari, and the Centipede version was very, very good. We played lots of variants of Centipede that were close to the game. It wasn't like it was an amazing arcade experience. This one's still very well done. Oh, we don't want two-player. Yeah, go into it. So at this point, with all the copies and clones, this game we're playing, there's 42 games out there that are copying Defender that we've checked out. And it'd be amazing to know if Eugene Jarvis knew that his game was going to be that popular to be cloned that much. Go, go, go. Get a rescue in. Nice. Oh, man, I don't know how I dodged that one. All right, let's see if we can get this one in. What? I did my smart bomb, and he just honed in and killed me. There you go. So some of the best ways to play variants of Defender or clones of Defender have been Mayday that we saw in the arcade, Victory that we saw in the arcade, Funky Fish in the arcade, and then on home computers we saw Eliminator If you haven't seen Eliminator, it's a very, very good contender for a clone of Defender that we've seen that you can play right now. Lunar Leaper is another really, really good one. It is one of the top tier games you could play on the Commodore VIC-20. It's on a few other computers too. I think we saw it on the Apple II up to this point. Planetoid, which was also named Defender, was on the BBC Micro. That is another really good clone of Defender. It's not having this much happening on the screen, but they did a great job with the colors. The BBC Micro kind of pops compared to what the Atari has. Then we also saw Protector 2 on the Atari home computer. For my money, the biggest comparison would be this game to Protector 2 for the ultimate Defender experience, or who's going to have the candle. So it's going to be tight as far as ratings go, because Protector 2 is a very, very good clone of Defender right now. Oh, man. I know those swarmers, they come in all over the place. And then the other one that we saw a while back was Gorgon. Gorgon is another very well done Defender-style game. It doesn't look like it's trying to copy exactly that the arcade had. And then another one is Strike Force. So all those are some of the best ways to play Defender right now. And that's on all systems. Whoa! So I would say this game is definitely better than Offender that we played and Planet Invasion that we checked out on the TRS-80 color computer. This version of this game is better than those two for sure. And I would say Rear Guard as well. Rear Guard's another Defender kind of game variant that we've seen so far. This one plays better than Rear Guard. I'd also say this plays better than Sidewinder and Aggressor that we saw on the Commodore VIC-20. And the original Protector that was for the Atari home computer by Synapse Software, I would say this plays better than that too. But for my money, those other Defenders, they're really good. And it's just amazing that we're playing an official game and there's better Defenders on home computers that you could check out. And Charlie's already thrown out 5 stars, saying this is the best of the best, or one of the best games you could play on any home computer right now in December 1982. James is going 4 stars. Oh, it's dependent on the 5200 version. Well, maybe we'll hold off on this rating and check out that. Yep, right? I don't know. Yeah, Lucas, I don't know if Eugene Jarvis knew this was going to be that popular. M. Tiskey saying 3.5 stars for all the games you could play on all home computers right now. Brad saying 4 stars. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just start right now. If you twisted my arm, I might say 4.5 stars for this Defender, saying it's one of the best games you could play on any home computer right now. But there's a lot of really good shooters and shoot-em-ups inspired by and even surpassing what Defender has. One of the best shoot-em-ups, like that's not even Defender made, is the one we said before, the where is it? The not Gorgon or Mayday or any of those. It was the one that was for a Survivor. That's what it was. But Survivor really wasn't a Defender-style game. I want to compare this to all the games that would be like Defender. But I'll say 4 stars. Of all the games you could play across all home computers right now, official Defender is excellent. It's a very good game. I don't know if I can say this is one of the best games, though, you could play on all home computers right now. It's very, very good. It's amazing. But I'll say 4 stars for now. But before we actually lock in that rating, let's check out the next game. Our next game is Defender on the Atari 5200. Now, the release dates for these aren't exact, it didn't come out the exact same day or back-to-back, but they're so close that I'm going to go ahead and play both of them right now so we can have a really good comparison. Here's Defender for the brand new Atari 5200. This one is the 8th video game that we've seen on the Atari 5200 after Super Breakout, Galaxian, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Real Sports Soccer, Missile Command, and Star Raiders. Look at that. Now, this is like a reconstructed box. It looks way too new, but they did different artwork for the home release, or I should say different also than the 2600 version. Right now, Atari has kind of a rival or a competition that's going on between the computer world and the console world. And because of what they did and really mucked up the 5200, this cartridge will not work on your Atari home computer, even though it really should. They're really close architectures. But see, this artwork kind of reminds me of why. Why did they pick a different artwork for the 5200 to differentiate it from it? But anyway, it makes it a little confusing. Plus, this one is like showing the humans being abducted into space. All right, here we go. Let's flip it over the back. They got a screenshot. They show the system itself with the analog joysticks. You're the captain of the spaceship Defender. Your mission is to save the humanoids from alien abduction. Yes, it is. Classic. So good. All right, let's take a look at the other artwork for Defender on the Atari 5200. There's a later box or another redone. Maybe it's just a fan box of Defender. Same artwork for the 5200 of all the aliens being sucked up. And then we have a different or alternate back of the box, maybe from another region, possibly. And then we have the catalog item for the Atari 5200. They have games on here we have seen. Then they have ones we're about to be seeing very soon. You can see they have coming soon. And then you know the story of the 5200. Some of these games may not even come to be. So look at this catalog and let me know which ones were real and which ones were not real. There it is, the 5200 home console. Not a lot of games right now. There's the cartridge for Defender. And this asterisk, I've seen some systems without the labels without the asterisk for Defender, and some with, but it's because it's the trademark of Williams. Williams is letting them bring it home. And there it is, the box itself, and then that super cool new artwork. I don't know, I like the other one better. It does look really terrifying, being abducted by aliens. Or maybe it's in the future. So here's the manual for the Atari 5200 version of Defender. Now, this was done by Atari, or I should say published by Atari. This is the 77th video game that Atari has published on any home console. You know, it's just going to be the 2600. But this is the 77th game that we've seen so far that Atari's done. It's also the 16th video game we've seen that Williams has anything to do with, and the 11th game by Steve A. Baker. And we brought up the games that Steve did in the home version. So this one's the 6th game we've seen in the Defender official series of Defender games after the arcade, after Stargate, after the Atari 2600, and the Intex Adventure Vision. All right, so this, it's going to probably be the same thing, but this is what makes me wonder, why do they have a different artwork? Why do they have a different manual? See, look, to Commanding Officer from Astro Intelligence, Mission Defender. They're making it different. They're doing more than they would need to. It should be the same, right? But it's not. See, here's the circumstances or the story. Aliens from a distant solar system are swarming over the planet Humanus, kidnapping humanoids. So it's not even real. It's not like the world or Earth. It's a whole new place. First, they infest the planet with landers, which close in on the cities, abducting the humanoids. Then the attack intensifies. Baiters, swarmers, bombers. Your mission is captain of the starship Defender. So they did a different story than for the other ones. Now I want to look back. I think the story is different on the Atari 2600 too. And yes, Lucas, we are in the Ray Kassar era of Atari. December 1982. So our defense strategy is full-range scanning equipment enables us to seek and destroy tactic. We have hyperspace technology. We have smart bombs. Report immediately to this dangerous mission. Notice the difference in quality. The manual for this one, I don't really dig it as much as I do for the Atari home computer version. The gameplay consists of the humanoids you need to save. Each game begins with 3 Defender lives, 3 smart bombs, and you can... the aliens attack in different waves. You can see right there. And they have some screenshots breaking down what you see on the screen. Smart bombs remaining are there. Lives are there. And then there's our enemies. Landers, bombers, swarmers, baiters, mutants, pods. It's the same, at least compared to the Atari home computer version. And this one is still very... This and the Atari home computer version we played are still great ports of the arcade. And I have to tell you, even though we've seen so many variants of Defender so at this point, it's still impressive that they were able to copy or make this as close as they could to the arcade. It's a very well done port. So your defense, Defender fires missiles to blast them. But when things look really bad, you have last resort weapons. Smart bombs that blow up every alien in sight on your screen. And you can also use this the hyperspace. And it can be tricky and dangerous. Sometimes invisible space matter can blow up on your spaceship during the time warp, which means maybe we shouldn't use the hyperspace that much. And it shows us how to use the scanner. It's at the top of the screen. And they even break down the scanner, which is kind of nice, telling you what everything represents with different colors. That's pretty good. Rescue the humanoids. You can blow them up. All humanoids are stranded helplessly, and they just stand there. When a humanoid's being abducted by a lander, you'll hear a cry for help. See, again, did we hear a cry for help when we heard it when we were on the Atari home computer? I don't remember that. Destroy the lander, let the humanoid fall back to the city, and then catch the humanoid and carry them to the city. And if you let them fall too far, they'll blow up and die. If a defender does not succeed in protecting a humanoid, a lander abducts him and carries him into space and transforms him into a mutant. They then return to attack the planet. And there it is, the infamous 5200 controllers. Be sure to plug in one, and you can play with 2-player if you want to, but it's still arcade hot seat style. You don't get to play at the same time. You use the little number pad overlay to use the buttons, but you really don't need it because it tells you on the screen which buttons to push. So that's helpful if you don't have the keypad overlay. You pick the game selection that you want, and then for controls, we have everything on the joystick. Now, when we just saw this on the Atari home computer, that was the Atari VCS joystick and one red button. This joystick will not plug into the Atari home computer. Again, part of the just terrible design that the Atari company as a whole was doing right now. We have missiles, which are the lower red button. We have smart bombs, the top red button. Hyperspace is any keypad to enter hyperspace, which is so cool. And then they say this is trackball optional, and they say it'll be available mid-1983, at least here on the manual. They are advertising a feature for a hardware that doesn't exist yet, and they say it'll be available sometime in the middle of 1983. And I have confirmed, yes, the trackball does work. I haven't played it myself. I'd love to know if it's worth it playing Defender with a trackball, but you can. And we have the different game variations, which are essentially the different game difficulties. And then the scores are, oh, there's someone getting abducted. They got some pixel art here, which is nice. There's the point values for everything. Still nicely done. I like this grid that they put in the manual. Then we got the strategies and tips. They did the same ones, but they didn't include the artwork, at least some of the tips, the artwork that the Atari home computer had. So there's some best scores. Write them down and show your friends. All right, let's pop in that cartridge and play Defender on the Atari 5200 by Steve A. Baker. Again, Williams and Atari in the beginning of December 1982. Let's go. All right, so we're greeted again with a screen that's not the same as the Atari home computer version. And that again makes me wonder, why did they do this? Why, or how much work did Steve have to do to make these two different versions? Because I heard he was working on them at the same time, but they're not identical. This one has to be compatible with this home console and with this joystick, the new analog joystick. All right, so I'm just going to go right into game mode, 1-player easy, and then push start. I'm not going to push any of the other options. Ready? And hit it. All right, so controls are, oh man, feels pretty good. Nice. Maybe it's the analog joystick. So we're probably going to lose some humanoids while I'm messing around. I just blew up a humanoid, but I can already see. Oh, catch him. Bring him down. Oh, where's my... Oh, I don't have to push spacebar on the keyboard. I can just do it all on the joystick. Let's check it out. Ready? And... Oh, nice. So that's the... One of your attack buttons works, and you have the power all in your hand. That's awesome. Boom. And even though I used my smart bomb, I just get completely destroyed. I can blow up humans if I want to. So already it looks like very similar action, and in fact I'm experiencing maybe the same. It's so minimal. I wouldn't even want to compare the two. We're really not getting a difference in slowdown. It's pretty much very close to what the Atari home computer had, or it's so close that it's not even noticeable. All right, let's do it again. Let's play for real. Fire the shots. Where's my warp? Okay, there it is. I can use that if I want to be risky. I got blown up there. It does feel if just a tad bit, but when there's a lot of things on the screen, there's shrapnel on the screen, it doesn't. Oh, okay, it's working all right there. Let's go and move on this side. 1-player easy seems to be actual easy. Well, we did go from hard on the Atari home computer to easy here. It's awesome. This still, I got no qualms with this. If I had this for the 5200, this is a well worth purchase. Incredible. Especially since now we're going to be comparing this to all the games you could play on all home consoles right now. This is awesome. This is a step above the others. Oh man, look at that. So I'm going to go over on this side. There we go. Looking good. We got to blow up the bomber here. He's dropping all those. Oh man, it buys Smart Bomb and still got blown up. That's right, Brian. This one is a very, very similar architecture. So we're playing a system on two systems tonight. It's Defender, but it's on pretty much the identical hardware. That's why it's amazing that this is different at all. Why is it even? Why did they do that and spend the time to market it differently and make it different? And it should have been. This should have been a knock in the park. And I already mentioned this when we were playing the Atari 5200 when it first came out. Let me just blow up the humanoid. That wasn't smart. But you cannot plug this cartridge into the system or vice versa. They're only compatible with the other one. Terrible, terrible move. But this right here is really, really impressive. And a lot of fun. If you want to play an arcade game at home, this is so fun. So this one is the 180th shoot 'em up that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming, and this is the 19th shoot 'em up, or I should say scrolling shoot 'em up that we played on all home consoles right now. The best of the best scrolling shoot 'em ups on home consoles could be games like Vanguard that we saw on the Atari 2600, Zaxxon on the ColecoVision, and that one right there is because it's a completely different scrolling shoot 'em up using the isometric perspective. We also have Worm War 1 on the Atari 2600. It is a very well done scrolling shoot 'em up. Let me put him down. Oh, and die. We also saw Cosmic Avenger on the ColecoVision, which was a Defender clone, or sort of. No, Cosmic Avenger was Scramble. Then we also saw Freedom Fighters on the Magnavox Odyssey 2 and the Philips Video Pack. Just recently, we saw Bermuda Triangle on the Atari 2600. And Planet Patrol on the Atari 2600. Those are some of the best or very well done scrolling shoot-'em-ups you can play on home consoles right now. And this one is the same size cartridge as what we saw on the Atari home computer, a 16 kilobyte cartridge. It is 16 kilopower to give us this home console game. That is incredible for home console video game cartridges. It's blowing away like the power of what the Atari could do. Oh man, they came up from behind. That was fast. So we've still only seen 42 variants of Defender that are not official in the series of Defender on all systems at this point. Mayday, Victory, Funky Fish, and Rescue have been in the arcade, but here on home consoles, the Defender variants that we played have been pretty good, like Chopper Command on the Atari 2600. We gave that one 4 stars for all the games you could play on all home consoles. Cosmic Raiders on the Astrocade, we gave 4 stars. We gave Planet Defender on the Creative Vision 4 stars. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back on the Atari 2600, we gave 4 stars. Mega Force, we gave for the Atari 2600 3.5 stars. And then Space Raiders on the Arcadia 2001, we only gave 3 stars. All those are home console Defender variants. And this game, the way that this plays and how good this is, this, compared to everything you could play on home consoles right now, is a reason to get the Atari 5200. It's that good when you compare it to everything that's available right now on other home consoles. Oh yeah, and yes, James, I would say this is playing better and feels better than it was on the Atari home computer. And of course, it's not really as fair because the Atari home computer version was going against all the other games you could play on all other home computers. But I still say this is really good. I'm going to have to bump it up a notch. I might even go 4.5 to 5 stars. Of all the games you could play on all home consoles, it's awesome. So Lucas is saying 4 stars. Charlie's throwing out 5. Jeremiah's saying 4.5. M. Tiskey's saying 5 stars. Brad's saying 4. 4.5 is what Brian's saying. Mark's see, I'm thinking 4.5 to 5. I might even say 5 just because of how different and better this is compared to all the other games you could play on all other home consoles right now, especially if you wanted to play something that's like Defender. Those other games we mentioned, I rated them 4 stars for a reason, because they were very good, but they weren't really like one of the best games you could play on all home consoles right now. This is still pretty good. I'm going to go all the way. Yeah, Defender on the Atari 5200, it's just a nod better than the Atari home computer version, and if that's saying anything, that should be saying a lot. It's really, really good. 5 stars for Defender on the Atari 5200. All right, now we got to put the video game playing on pause. And all you got to do now is just push that button on your Atari 5200 joystick. Thanks so much, everyone that's here live in December 1982 to join me on this crazy quest to play every single video game in order of release. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, the very first Japanese role-playing video game on a home computer, at least allegedly. And for all the video games, whether it's allegedly the first one or not, I can dig them. That's it for today, and like I always say, why do I have to be the sole person who saves the planet? Can't someone else do it? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.